I got married very young. I got married at 19, so there sort of wasn't a lot I did between school and when I got married. So I finished work when I was 21 because I was pregnant with my first child. So I was sort of looking for something to do in my spare time. I wasn't really a person to sit around and twiddle my thumbs and, sit and do nothing. So I wanted a hobby, wanted something to do and try and generate a bit of money. Would have been good too. So I started making a few items of clothing for our local craft shop called the Purple Paddock, and they actually were selling, which was good. I was very pleased about that. And so within 6 months of making my first items, I registered a business name and sourced some wholesale fabric supplies, and it sort of just started from there. I had no real vision that that's what it was ever going to grow into. It was just a hobby, something to fill in my time at that particular time. Yeah. Well, I started my business from home. It worked for me at the time. I was a stay-at-home mum, so I had a spare room, and we just worked from there. I didn't need any initial startup capital. I just worked with what I had. Old sewing machine, bought bits of fabric in, but it was all small quantities, so it was never a big thing that I needed to have, a lump sum of money to get started with my business. And it sort of grew from there. And it just grew slowly. And I gradually updated my equipment and things like that. You bought a new sewing machine, went from a domestic sewing machine to an industrial sewing machine, which was big steps along the way, but they were all funded from money that I had made along the way. You can sort of justify that next step. So we sort of grew slowly that way. Mm-hmm. All right, well, we are a sole trader. The business consists of myself. I do employ a couple of workers now, but it's run and owned by me. It was set up as a online business to begin with. We've only recently gotten a storefront, and at the time it was just because it worked. We were promoting our business, going to a few local field days and things like that, and people sort of found that if we didn't have exactly what they wanted on the day, how else can we find you? So it happened due to demand. People were asking for it. We need something. We need somewhere to find you. That too, and the fact that I'm in Keith. I'm in a country town. We have 1,200 people that live in Keith. So there's a lot more people out there that I would have liked to have seen my product. So if you create a website, that can be accessible by anywhere in Australia, and that was sort of the reason behind that. And it enabled me to showcase my full range of products without actually having to stock every single size in every single different colour combination. It just worked for what I had. I've got so many different colours of tops, to have one of every size in every colour, I would be having, infinite number of stocks sitting there. The main disadvantages for having only a website-based business, an online business, is the fact that you actually don't ever get to meet the customer. So I sort of feel as though you've got to try and portray your personality through your website so that they realise that you're that little bit different from all the other businesses out there, and you care about, the fact that they're happy and like their purchases. They also don't get to feel the fabrics, don't get to try things on, and that type of thing, which always is a bit tricky, but you try and make it easy for them in the fact that, you're welcome to return items if the need be, and that type of thing. Alright, well, I source all my fabrics within Australia. They source them, the people that I buy them from source them from overseas, but I like to keep my product as Australian made as possible. So for me, that feels better if I'm buying from an Australian company. It also means I don't have to handle all the, mucking around with trying to get overseas companies and fabric samples and, issues if it's not right and the quality's not there. So yeah, I buy all my fabric within Australia. The product that I sell is women's rugby jumpers. So it's not something that appeals to everyone. It's a niche market. They're not, you've got to target the people that like the product that I make, love the product. And that's what you've sort of got to do. Work out something that you're interested in, that you like to do, you have a passion for, and run with that. We market most of our business through Facebook. That's very popular at the moment. We do like to get out and meet the customers as much as we can as well. So we do go to country field days, which are very similar to your city shows. We just do them in the country. So it's all the local, not always local, they travel from all over Australia to come together to promote their products, give people a chance to see different things, try things on and that type of thing. So we do like to do that, and that directs a lot of people back to our website, and that way. So I've also started blogging. I went to a marketing workshop and heard that blogging was a good way to draw traffic into your website, so I've become a blogger, which is interesting. Yeah, different set of skills. Yeah. Well, there's competition with every product, I guess. Some products have more competition than others. I'm finding with mine at the moment there's a bit of gap in the market. There's some big companies that do similar types of products, but they mass produce everything. There's lots of them. There's no options to, customise, make it the way people want to wear it. If you're a bigger lady or a taller lady or a shorter lady, you've just got to work with what they've got there. Where with out and about clothing, we can make them to fit you. So we do a lot for ladies that find things hard to fit, and I think that's you've got that niche product where you've got that way of targeting a specific audience that can't buy everywhere. They like the options to choose what colours they like to work with, particular things in their wardrobe if they're going on holidays and things like that. So I am fortunate enough to be able to employ a couple of workers at the moment, and potential to employ some more down the track, which was the move from working from home to our premises here, where we've got more space and our retail outlet. And the town were really excited about the move. They were, really pleased to see a new little shop pop up. You get so many little towns that are just getting smaller and smaller, and all the vacant shops there. So the fact that, you've got a business that has a shop front, they were really pleased about. The beauty is when you're employing other people in your local community, well then, you're supporting their families as well, and they go to the local IGA and buy their bread and milk and bits and pieces they need. So then the IGA benefits from that. Also having the store here, I actually find that 60% of the people that come to my storefront are actually from out of towners. So, it's those people that you've touched base with on the website or through Facebook that, are relishing in the fact that they've got a retail store that they can come and visit now. So it's bringing them into Keith, which is a great thing for a little country town. So I find that when people come to visit Out and About Clothing, they might have seen us advertise on the website and go, excellent, I've got a family function, we're heading off to Adelaide, let's pop into Keith and have a look at the little store. So, they'll work it in with their trip, they'll come, they'll have a look around my little shop, and then, it's lunchtime, so they'll pop down to the bakery and buy some lunch, and look at, all the other little things that Keith has to offer. So, yeah, it's a good reason to make them stop and spend some money in our town. So any legal issues surrounding having a retail store and employing people was probably the area that I struggled with the most. It's an area you wish you had have a bit more knowledge, or someone come in and go, this is what you need to do to make sure you're covered. You've got to have public liability insurance and things like that. If someone falls over and stubs their toe, from the tiniest little things, common sense doesn't come into it anymore. But as soon as you start employing people, then, it's a whole other ball game. And, it was a bit of an intimidating one for us, just because, we felt as though we sort of lacked knowledge in that area. So there's definitely an area that we need to work on. So in the future, we do see Out and About Clothing continue to expand. It's gotten here slowly, but surely over the last 15 years. And we do expect it, to get busier and busier. I am keen to try and keep all the manufacturing of Out and About Clothing here under my control. We're very anti, getting things made overseas. We're very proud that we are Australian made, and that's helped us to make our product saleable. It's that niche thing that makes it that little bit different to a lot of other products. It's very hard to find Australian made clothing, so we're very adamant that we want to keep that. If we got beyond what I could control here, what I could manage, I would probably look at outsourcing it to, you know, a little manufacturing business somewhere else in Australia. Hard to find, mind you. I get emails daily from overseas companies that would be more than happy to make your product for you. Would be so easy to get into. But, you know, it's definitely not an avenue that we're looking at going down. Yeah, well, we're flat out doing what we're doing with making our rugby jumpers at this time. There's been lots of comments from people about extending the range and what would we cover next, and yeah, I'm not sure. Just because we're so busy doing what we're doing, men's rugbies maybe would be the next step, because it's, you know, along the similar lines. There's some fabrics we could probably use for both, but you'd still have to find, you know, certain fabrics that, you know, better suited to men's rugbies. I would love to get shirts and just other country clothing that would complement the products. We are looking into getting maybe a vest or something like that done, because you know, they wear well with the rugbies. They're good to layer with the rugby, so you could sell the customer a rugby and a vest instead of just one or the other. But yeah, it's just having that scope to grow the business so that we can cope with new products and that type of thing. Yeah, so we're really happy with how Out and About Clothing has developed. It has been a long process. It has been 15 years to get us from, you know, our little hobby at home to where we are now. But for me, that is, you know, that's the speed that was perfect, because I was at home. I had little kids. I couldn't have a store like I've got now. I had to be at home caring for them. So it worked. Unfortunately, by growing it slowly, you've also got the opportunity for word of mouth to be your main form of advertising. And, you know, it's actually the best advertising. It's the most reliable. Somebody else bought the product, loves the product, and is promoting the product for you. So we've gotten mainly to where we are due to that. The future, or looking back, would I do anything differently? I'm not sure that I would, because it actually worked quite well for us. You probably learn a few little things along the way, you know, managing people and things like that when you get your first worker, and yeah, and being able to hand over the reins and they can do something that you can do. That was probably my little issues along the way, and perhaps getting a worker a bit earlier might have been a good step. I mean, we've only employed 2 now, but had I, you know, maybe gotten someone a bit earlier to give me a hand, then maybe the business could have grown at a little bit quicker rate, and I still would have been able to cope with that growth. So, but in hindsight, I'd probably do, yeah, most things the same as what we have done them.